So welcome to our live stream of the Steigen Spectacular 2019. Have a number of very, very exciting events on the track tonight. The first of which is the women's 800 metres B race. And in lane 1 is Rose McMahon-Jones. Lane 2, Chloe Warmington. Lane 3, Greta Jones. Lane 4, Sarah Dixon. Lane 5, Caitlin Charles. Lane 6, Alicia Buckland. Lane 7, Rihanna Watts. And lane 8, Ava McMahon-Jones. So a couple of sisters racing this race. Mitch Dyer.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. It's going to be an absolute cracker of a night for athletics, I reckon. A little bit windy, but not too bad. But the sibling rivalry, they're always pretty fierce.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a few 800 metre events to kick off the night tonight. All junior events, I believe, and then into the Steigen #1 events to follow them. Exciting new concept being put on by the guys at Steigen this year, which we'll talk about more as the night gets on.
And we're off here, Mick. The first race of the night, the women's B 800 metres, as they're going to round the bend, and they're going to hit the brutal headwind on the back straight here, and they're going to sort themselves out.
Looks like it might be Greta Jones, the athlete in red from Belmont. So a fair few Geelong locals in this race, few from Ballarat as well, who are going to be battling it out in the first event of the night here at the Steigen Spectacular.
Yeah, and they're all going to try and probably tuck in, I'd say, because as I said, this headwind is extremely strong, so they're probably going to want to conserve as much energy as possible. But we'll be able to get maybe a little bit of a better read on who is where when they round the bend here. But they've gone out with a strong start, I would say, given how windy it is, as they're going to run into the front straight. And it's spread out a little bit there. We've got a front pack, and about 10 metres behind there we have a few stuck in no man's land. But as they round the bend here, I believe it is...
Looks like Greta Jones of Belmont. Caitlin Charles as well, the athlete, unattached in the green singlet. They go through in 71 seconds. If they can hold strong for another lap, they'll be well under their personal best times of around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Mitch.
Yeah, and they're all just feeding off each other there. I would say the one at the back of that front pack is looking extremely comfortable as she now starts to make a move heading into the headwind. So we'll see if that one pays off for her. But Greta Jones now, she's just still tucked right into second place there.
That's it. I think we said in our last stream we were cringed every time someone was making a big move around the bend. So good, smart move, passing on the back straight as the wind almost just died down here at Geelong.
Stopped.
Bit of intel on the ground. The trees have just settled as the athletes kick around on that final bend for a strong finish.
I believe that's Caitlin Charles out in front, who's made a strong run from home on the back straight. As we said, we had a few critical comments of it last time, but she's going to come in now, and she's into the final 100, and she's working hard. But I believe right behind her there may be Chloe Warmington.
Could be worse. Warmington.
Oh, the other way around,
and then Charles.
Yeah.
Also, McMahon-Jones is having a strong run as well, but it was Chloe Warmington. 2 minutes 29 seconds, about 10-second PB for Chloe there.
Well, impressive running. It's a beautiful temperature, but the wind would have made it extremely difficult. So there'd be a lot of girls there, if not all of them, who have run a PB, which is fantastic racing and a great way to start off the night. As we start to see the rest of our athletes come through now, Rose McMahon-Jones, and right after her, Ava McMahon-Jones. So the sisters are going to bring it in here in a great way to start the night here in the women's B 800. And the women's A now on the sidelines, ready to attack the conditions. And I'd say we're in a great night for racing all round here, Mick. You know, I'm looking to my right here, and we see the tents of the teams in the new format, the Steigen 1. And there are a lot of revved up people, and I think it's going to be a great spectacle for people to observe.
Absolutely, very exciting. We expect plenty of people to be tuning in later. Yeah, brand new, fresh concept as well. Something that I think athletics in Australia has been screaming out for a little while. And yeah, hats off to the guys at Steigen for taking the initiative and coming up with such a unique concept, having a crack and seeing if people would support it. And plenty of Australians, Victoria's top athletes have come along for the night in support of this interesting concept.
Also coming from interstate as well. I've seen a few of the Queensland boys rolling around. Hollywood McPhee just walked past me there, so it looks like it's got interest from all over the country, and it's going to be really cool to see the knockout format in motion and, you know, see how this point system works and everything works from there. So a great initiative, as you said, by the guys at Steigen. As we have the girls A800 on the line, and we'll call them as they start here. So hip number 1, Reese Fisher. Number 2, Georgina Mees. Number 3, Isla Bradshaw. Number 4, Lucinda Rourke. Number 5, Declan Tanner. Number 6, Sophie Coltish. Number 7, Kaylee Turver. Number 8, Gracie Lee Egner. Number 9, Sophia Armstrong. And number 10 on the outside there, Ella Rayson.
And Lucinda Rourke, the quickest PB of the field, the athlete with the number 4 hip. She is sitting comfortably in second at the moment. Declan Tanner, also a quick PB, and she is amongst the front few in this field.
Yeah, well, they've gone out really fast here, Mick. They've gone in about 33, 34, I believe, through the first 200, so they're not messing about. Lucinda Rourke has strung them out early. They are in a great single file, and she's looking extremely strong at the front. And she's going to have
Coltish as well. That may be just behind her, if I'm reading my bibs correctly. It absolutely is. 2:17 is Sophie's PB, so she'll be expected to be a contender here, as is Kiralee Turver, who's running strongly in third position. But Lucinda Rourke, 66 through the first lap. Let's see what she can do in the second.
Yeah, right on PB pace there, 2:12 she's got written down, so she starts to pump her arms now as she heads into the back straight. She's trying to put a little bit of distance, and she's succeeding at that. So 300 metres to go now. Lucinda Rourke starting to pull away from the rest of the field.
You can see that forward lean that she's just putting in, Mitch, as well. She's really battling against the wind, but extending her stride as best she can, and she is gapping Kiralee Turver and Sophie Coltish, who are aggressively chasing.
Well, 200 to go, 140 on the clock for Lucinda Rourke. And she's still kept that distance. She's maintained it here with 150 metres to go. So Lucinda Rourke, she took it from the gun, and she might take it to the tape as she starts to come into the home straight here. 157 on the clock. A dominant performance from Lucinda Rourke. And you're right, she's had that forward lean now, and she looks fantastic. Because there's going to be Lucinda Rourke, 50 metres to go. And
she's absolutely chasing the clock as well. PB of 2:12. She'll be thereabouts and taking victory in this women's A race. 2:13, 2:14 on the clock. Kiralee Turver in second. Sophie Coltish, Declan Tanner, Gracie Lee Edgar, Georgina Mees, Reese Fisher, Ella Rayson, Isla Bradshaw, and Sophia Armstrong to round out the field in the women's A 800 metres here at the Steigen Spectacular.
And that is not easy whatsoever. Any time that you try and lead something from the start and hold on is hard, but to do it with this much headwind, it's extremely impressive, and only 2 seconds off her PB. So a fantastic start to the night, and we'll see if the boys can follow on here, as they're now waiting in the wings for their chance to get after it on the track. A lot of tired girls out there as well. You can see how much hard work it is. Much nicer than the 44 degrees that we faced in Melbourne yesterday, so I think you'd probably take wind over that sort of heat.
Yeah, absolutely. I was chatting to a few people earlier saying how strange it is only in Melbourne, or, well, Geelong, I guess, could you have a day where it's 45 degrees and then the next day it's a third of that temperature almost. Nowhere else in the world has that erratic nature about the weather.
No, at least we're unique, I guess. I guess with all the excitement of the Steigen one coming into place, maybe people have forgotten that we have a great mile race as well, and the 10,000 metres as the last event of the night. So plenty of fantastic racing after that Steigen one. And a lot of great sprints here too.
Yeah, the 10,000 metre at Steigen's always a great one. It's almost like the unofficial Australian B race for the 10,000, having Zatopek the week earlier.
Yeah.
It brings almost all the best guys who just didn't quite make the cut to run at that Zatopek meet. So got a pretty hot field for that meet, for the race later on, the 10K, and I think they're going to aim for around 29.5 minutes, and there should be a fair pack around that. So if we're sort of considering that our B race and all the guys who didn't run the Australian Championships, that's pretty good going.
Well, I was noticing that, I can't remember whether it was Athletics Australia, Victoria that posted it, but every member of that Zatopek 10 race ran under 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed that. There's usually, you know, the odd person who sort of tends to blow out in the Zatopek, especially if you're left in no man's land a bit. But yeah, very, very impressive results. So many PBs as well.
Oh, wow.
Sort of flicking through social media the next day, and so many good stories, apart from Stewie, obviously, getting the Australian record.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I was preaching about it on the Tuesday, but you cannot deny the fact that Box Hill is now the home of PBs. And Australian records.
Absolutely, yeah.
What a great claim to fame that is for the club.
Do you have it? Yeah.
And not just on the track tonight do we have great performances, but we've also got a few field events running at the same time. We have the start list here for the women's and the men's pole vault. And the women's, Georgia Taylor of Box Hill, Isabel McFarlane of Melbourne Uni, Grace Barth, I believe of Corio, Olivia Gross of Geelong Guild, Cassidy Brayshaw of Chilwell, Raphaelia Corney, who's unattached, Alana Green of Keilor St Bernard's, Catherine Liano of Melbourne Uni, Alicia Kenshall of Diamond Valley, and Tamara Mancuso of Melbourne Uni. And to the men, another field of 8 here, and Wilson Cram of Keilor St Bernard's, Dalton DeMedio of Box Hill, Andre DeMedio of Box Hill, Liam Harris unattached, Lachlan Burns unattached, David Thompson of ANW. Do you know that one, Mick? Athletics Nunawading, maybe?
Yeah, could do. We'll have to see the uniform when they come out, but ANW.
We might have to find Jimmy out there on the pole vault if we can get him out there. But James Woods as well, number 7, and Joel Poblington, a former Box Hill athlete. Unsure if he's competing for Box Hill tonight, but a Commonwealth game representative in his own right. And so we have our next event on the track here, which is the boys B 800 metres, and we'll call them now as they get on the line. Hip number 1 is Judd Buckland of Ballarat YCW. Number 2, Seth McLeish, unattached. Number 3, Hugh Habish, unattached also. Number 4, Oliver Bradshaw of Chilwell. Number 5, Jacob Sprunt, who's unattached. Number 6, Axel Caldo of Windaree. Number 7, Jake Jenkins of Geelong Guild. Number 8, Gus Augustine, unattached. Number 9, Broden Bond, unattached. Number 10, Josh Unthank, unattached. Number 11, Bart Leeton
Old Scotch.
Old Scotch, no mullet there. And number 12, Jack Ellis of Chilwell.
Have you been practicing your club abbreviations?
I've honestly, I've been studying
it.
It's the most I've ever studied in my life, so I'm hoping that I get a pass. But it's okay if I don't. I'm used to it. A lot of young guys in the field all want to come out here and prove themselves. I know as a junior athlete to run at an event where senior athletes are running, it's always a great thrill. You get a bit more of a crowd than what you may get down at Little Ats, and even when you're transitioning into the senior ranks, it's great to see the older guys competing around you and warming up and being able to be immersed in it all. So these guys will relish the opportunity. Definitely,
especially if all those tents set up around the start line there. I reckon that's the absolute best position that they could have done that. There's so much buzz when each of these races will start around this area and definitely finish as well. It's very much looking forward to when we get into the #1 races later on, the finish line vibes of all the teams as the tents are set up around that area.
And we are racing. And I came to expect that there may be a few hot starters here.
Jed Buckland in lane. Oh no, that might be Seth McLeish unattached. A 2:30 runner. He's got the Chilwell singlet, but he's in lane 1. It looks like Jed Buckland is running well as well up the front. There's a sea of Chilwell uniforms there, so it's going to be a bit hard to tell everyone apart until they round the bend. It looks like someone from Geelong Guild in Jake Jenkins, that would be, is leading the field around.
Well, Jenkins there, he's gone out in 30 seconds, and I reckon there's more athletic Chilwell athletes out there than I've had hot dinners, so there's quite a bit, and it's
a bit of a training session.
Yeah, so Jenkins, as you said, 30 seconds through the 200. He slowed it down a little bit here as he rolls through in 47, so he's going to do it on his own. Our old Scotch athlete there is tucked in. He's going to lead that chase back, and that's Bart Leeton.
Bart Leeton, yeah, he's very good
runner.
runner.
We start to see a few make a move, and here we go. Let's try and pick up the numbers here. I believe that's Brody Bond now, who's going to come up onto the second place.
Josh Unthank as well is in 3rd position. He's getting up on the heels of Bond as well.
66 at the bell.
Jake
now
Jenkins,
these guys are moving.
For someone with a PB of 2:27, he's put it all on line early.
Yeah, he is not afraid. And he is the lean figure out there, so these two boys will actually benefit from the fact that he is a little bit taller than them. He's got a bit of distance, but you can still get a little bit of wind off that. Jenkins, he made his move around the first 200. He's about to come around a lap from that, and he's still got it, and he's got it even further in front. So he's got about 5 metres on the rest of the field as we get to 200 metres to go here, Mick, and he's 140, 141.
That's it. It seems to be Jenkins' race in this last 200 metres unless something dramatically changes. Look at Leeton in 4th position in the red singlet. He is chasing Unthank and Bowden Bond as well. But Jenkins, he's going to get a massive PB right here. He's on 2 minutes at the moment. The seed time that he's put down is 2:27. Piece of cake here at Geelong tonight for Jake Jenkins. Massive PB. Unthank is charging home. Bart Leeton might get himself into 3rd position, but 2:15 for Jenkins. Leeton did charge home for that 3rd position in about 2:18-ish. Unthank, very strong race as well as Broden Bond.
Yeah, that's moving. Those boys were absolutely getting after it, which is great to see. Jenkins, he actually looked really comfortable coming down the home straight. As we see our last athlete here in Judd Buckland now, he's going to cross the line.
I reckon he had a bit more in him.
Yeah, he looked real cruisy, I'll tell you what, unless he's just one of those athletes that never looks like they're hurting, but yeah, he looked fantastic.
We've you can kind of forget about so far the wind that we've had here at Geelong as well. It can't be easy running out there, but we've seen some pretty quick times. Lucinda Rourke only 2nd off her PB of 2:12, and huge PB by Jake Jenkins just then, and a few of the others.
Yeah, and a great feeling, and it feels like we've commentated a few of these now, but it's still early in the season. I consider December to be pretty early. So I know we're starting around into the summer, the weather gets warmer and the sessions get a bit tougher, but it's always nice to run either close to or under a PB. So they'll get a lot from that, all of those athletes there, as we now start to see the A race of the boys, 800 metres, take to the line. And we've got a field of 10 here.
And in lane 1, it will be Alexander Angus unattached. Lane 2, Brad Ganley of Western Athletics. Lane 3, Ethan Grills of Geelong Guild. Lane 4, Archie Coldlow of Wendouree. Lane 5, Ollie Armstrong of Geelong Guild. Lane 6, Elias Stott of Geelong Guild. Lachlan Dest, Geelong Guild also. Joshua McCout of Belmont. Jack Unthank, Josh's brother, unattached. He'll be rocking a Steigen singlet, I would think, just like his brother did in the earlier race. I would hope that's just not his brother's. Might be a bit sweaty.
Hope they're not sharing.
Number 10 is Harvey Mason of Geelong Guild. So just making it very confusing for us. 5 Geelong Guild singlets will be out on track for this men's A race.
Yeah, the sea of green.
Couple of athletes around the 2:0 mark, 2 minutes, 2:05, 2:10, sort of around where we'll be seeing that first lap. Probably go through in about a minute.
Well, our OMAC athlete in lane 1, and that would be Alexander Angus. He's got the 2-minute PB, so we'll see how quickly they can go out as they're in the starter's hands. And we're up. A few nervous legs out there. And we're off now. There was no uneasiness that time around as the boys are going to find their way through. And it looks like out in lane 8, that could be our number 10 there, Harvey Mason, who's going to make a charge for it. But it's also the sea of green. It was like Chilwell last time, and now we've got Geelong Guild. They're going to make their presence felt. Our fastest athlete in the field, Alexander Angus there. He's going to tuck in on the inside, on the rail. See if he can get the benefit of people helping him out there. Exactly.
So it's Ollie, Elias, Lachlan, Ethan. They're all there. All the boys in the Geelong Guild green singlets. So where's Geelong Guild sandwich at the moment with Alexander Armstrong sitting in the middle.
Yeah, and he looks pretty unfazed, old Alexander Armstrong. He looks really comfortable. He's got a nice arm drive and his legs are just ticking over beautifully there. But Oliver Armstrong, he's going to lead it out, and right behind him there is Ethan Grills. So you're right, it literally is a Geelong Guild sandwich as they're going to come around here.
They've been training for this for weeks.
Yeah. 62, 63 on the clock, and they're all pretty well tightly bunched. So another Geelong Guild athlete now comes on the outside. So
could that be Lachlan
Alexander
Des maybe, or maybe he's the one trailing actually, Lachlan Des. Harvey Mason is right there in the mix as well. And that sandwich continues. Just remember back in the day with Craig Mottram racing the Africans? He'd be that tall white figure in the middle of the Africans, the African sandwich. Well, this is a Geelong Guild sandwich that we have with Alexander Angus sitting pretty in the middle.
I'll tell you what, Alexander Angus said, I'm done being in this sandwich. I'm getting out of here. I'm ready to move, boys, but
Let's
they say
make it
no.
An open sandwich, Melbourne style.
They have said none of that, and it's going to be Ethan Grills at the front. And he's taken to a 200 to go, but it is not over.
Angus moves up now. On Grills' shoulder. Stott chases very quickly. Mason is right there as well. Alexander Angus, Ethan Grills.
For the hometown. Grills.
And Grills will
says,
put
this
his
is
hand
my
up.
track. Grills has said, this is my track, and you respect it. Alexander Angus, he was coming hard, but Grills, he's going to take that. 205. Really good running.
That was a great race.
Oh, great to see. Bit of passion.
The time was probably just outside what a couple of them would have been hoping for, PB-wise, but what a race. That's what we like to see on a night like this.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to throw the times out the window and get in a good effort. And I'd say either Grills would be pretty stoked with that one. Angus, outside of his PB, yes, but a great close there and a good fight out to the finish line.
Yeah, Ollie Armstrong as well came through pretty strong in third position there.
Good stocks in the junior 800 metres of Geelong Guild.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mitch. Now,
here we go.
Steigen #1, a new concept. I'll tell you what I know.
Yeah,
you might be able to fill in the gaps. Okay, so we have our women's event on right now. So there's 40 women who are involved in the women's #1 event. Then there'll be 40 men competing at 7:40 this afternoon. Or this evening, should I say. Now, the 40 women belong to 10 teams, as do the 40 men. So there's 10 teams. Each team has 8 athletes, 4 women, 4 men. Now, each time an athlete races, they'll cross the line, they will collect points for their individual teams. At the end, the team with the highest amount of points will take home a significant cash prize. There is also a cash prize for the winner of the overall event. Now, what is the overall event, you may ask?
Tell them, Mick.
Well, getting to the end of the overall event and winning the overall event will require an athlete to make it through the 3,000 metre event. So we'll have 40 women on track racing the 3,000 metres. It will take them, they'll need to get in the top 20 to make it through the mile, which will start 10 minutes after the first athlete crosses the line. So I'll start the clock, 10-minute break, then they'll race a mile. So there'll be 20 girls racing the mile. They'll have to finish in the top 10 to then make it through the 800, which will start 10 minutes later. In the 800, they'll have to finish in the top 5 to make it through the 400, which will be 10 minutes after the 800 metre finishes. So if they win out of that last 5 racing the 400 metres, then they'll take home some cash. So that's an individual prize. All those points will go towards the total team score as well. Do you think I left out the out?
Fantastic.
I was trying to make that as succinct as possible.
That was... Jeez, I know this race better than my own uni course now. That was unbelievable.
They did make us sit a bit of a degree in the rules and study the handbook.
Rules and regulations.
Exactly. So,
Mick, since you've got such a good cover on it, we have the 40 girls now who are going to compete in this 3,000. And in that, we could try and call all the names, and I'll try and do just that, to name the teams that they represent. Now that might be a little bit more difficult.
Okay, so to name all the athletes competing in this women's 3,000 metres, there's 40 of them. So it'll be a double start line. Basically, all the top 20 seeded athletes, I believe, will go in the first line, and then the next 20 will take a step behind them.
Beautiful.
Teams will be, we have Coco Mo Skincare. These are all local businesses, by the way, who will be sponsoring these teams. So pay a fee to get a team, and then reward could be they could get a cash prize back at the end to be that winning team. And each team has a team coach also. So I'll read out the teams and the team coaches, then we'll go through the full list of women as well. So Coco Mo Skincare is coached by Jack and Lisa Verstraeten, a couple of Geelong locals and quite figures in the Geelong running scene. We have Deakin University and Jamie Werner being the coach. We have Evolution Business Systems, and Jack Rayner, the mustache of Australian Athletics, is coaching Evolution Business Systems. Kaiser, believe they're a physiotherapy and strength conditioning business in Geelong. So Brett Coleman is coaching Kaiser. ID Accounting and Wealth Solutions is being coached by Mark and Erica Fountain. Mark Fountain having represented Australia in the past, Geelong local. Bayleaf is coached by Nick Bowden. Morton, so the sports and nutrition company, is being coached by Ben Toomey. Bruce Scriven is coaching Pro Feet Podiatry. Steam Packet is being coached by Tim O'Shaughnessy. Inside Running Podcast is coached by Brady, Brad, and Julian. So there are 10 teams and our team coaches. So to read through the athletes, we have Arantxa Murray Bartlett for Bayleaf. Number 2, we have Victoria Skaltsonis for that would be Business Solutions. We have Heidi Demio for Kokomo Skincare. We have Sarah Klein for Profeet. Cara Peak for Kaiser. Bridget Humphrey for Kaiser. Ebony Dodemaid for Kokomo. Amy Robinson for Kaiser. Bianca Pulgisi for Profeet. Isabel Girardi for Business Solutions. Rebecca Barry for Steam Packet. We have Rebecca Barry for, Katie Gamble for Steam Packet. Megan Dixon for Deakin. Abby Goldsworthy for Morton. Linda Word for Bayleaf. Sophie McMinimy for Morton. Eleanor Benson for Inside Running Podcast. Easter Keown for Sorry, that was Eleanor Benson for So that would be Alice Stiles for Kokomo Skincare, Bernadette Williams for Deakin, Lydia O'Donnell for Morton, Kelly Hetherington for Profeet, Sarah Billings for ID Wealth Solutions. To go down the list a little bit further, Tamara Quinn for Steam Packet, Tess Rhodes for Kokomo, Carly Thackerty for Business Solutions, Simone McInnes for Bayleaf, Kate Bramley for Profeet, Steph Austin for Inside Running Podcast, Anna Caspis for Wealth Solutions. We have Charlotte Wilson for Deakin, Abigail Thomas for Deakin, Olivia Richardson for Steam Packet, Steph Condagonis for Wealth Solutions, Natalie Rule for Business Solutions, Sophie O'Sullivan for Bayleaf, Audrey Hall for Inside Running Podcast, Whitney Sharp for Inside Running Podcast, Lyndon Hall for Morton, and Shani Landon for Kaiser. And I can take a breath now, Mitch Dyer.
My goodness, that was impressive, Mick. My God. What's more impressive?
We're learning new abbreviations as well.
I've got a piece of paper in front of me. I'm trying to write them down so I can remember. But you're right, this double start's very interesting. 40 athletes in a 3,000 metres.
Have you ever seen a track race this big?
You know what? Only nearly one time in the States in an indoor race, and that was carnage. Apart from that, this is as big as it gets, I think.
I think maybe I've seen
athlete field.
Exactly. Maybe I've seen close to a shield meet, but then again, this race is going to be so competitive, and the athletes are so tightly bunched. It's going to be interesting to see the 40 girls go across the...
You know what? It really stinks of like a national final type deal, doesn't it, this setup? Who's going to be tactically the smartest person in all of these races? So it's going to be super interesting to watch as we're in the starters' hands. And we're off. Like
we said as well, it's... team tactics come into play. Do you go off for the win? If you're a good runner like Lyndon Hall with a PB of 8:53, do you go for the win and collect your 40 points? By the way, points work in a reverse order, so if you win the 3K out of 40 athletes, you get 40 points. If you come last, you get 1 point. In the mile, if you win, you get 20 points. If you come last, you get 1 point. 800, if you win, you get 10 points, and if you come last, you get 1 point. So do you put all your points in the line on the 3K as the 40 women cross the starting line right now, 200 metres in? Lyndon Hall's right up there, a PB of 8:53. Will she try and claim a lot of points early and then sort of cruise through to win that 400 later and get the individual prize? I don't know.
Well, you can see Katie Gamble up there. Had a great Zatopek 10 last week, so she's going to be tucked in there nicely. But Lyndon Hall there, I think, in fourth place. And we struggle with an 8-person field, let alone a 40-person field to try and pick the name. So
I can spot Lydia O'Donnell as well, a New Zealand athlete running for Morton tonight. She's in third position.
Sophie O'Sullivan there as well.
She's a super endurance athlete. She's run a number of great marathons over the past couple of years. They go through that first lap in 75 seconds, so
they're moving all right.
About 9 minutes 20-ish. 9 minutes, 9:23, 9:21.
I know you were looking for me to help you there, but math is not my strong point.
Well, I know 72s is a 9 minutes, so
I like it.
With the 40 girls as well, we said the wind's a bit of a factor here, and there's plenty of paces to hide in a 40 women field. This is nothing I've ever seen before.
And I mean, it just staying to that, like you can see Nat Rule and Sarah Billings there. They're sitting in that middle part of the field. Sophie O'Sullivan in front of them. So a lot of athletes here are going to, maybe they're just going to get themselves through the first race and see how deep in they can go. Who knows? It looks like Lyndon Hall's definitely not one of those athletes. She's going to sit at the front. Try and accumulate points. I mean, depends how fit you are, doesn't it, at this time of the year?
Yeah, and I think
you can be up there.
I think points as well. It's running a strong 3K at the start of this might be a good sort of tactic. Whether you're sort of getting, I don't know, between 30 to 40 points, coming in the top 10 maybe, might be sort of enough to get a few team points, but also help you survive for the later rounds. You still get through the mile and the 800 and conserve a little bit. It's
keep your legs underneath here. I'm noticing this a little bit here, Mick, that a lot of them may actually not even be wearing spikes for this. If you think you're going to go on for a while, you might not want your feet in spikes for a 3K, a mile, an 8, and everything like that. So particularly in seeing Lyndon Hall, she's got the 4%ers on there. Maybe she'll change into the spikes the deeper she goes. But the field, I feel like you're probably benefiting a lot. Sarah Billings, as I said, she was in the middle. She's moved right up there now. She's going to get into about 4th place. So I'm going to try and get a look at the numbers here.
Yeah, Whitney Sharp is running well. Also in hip number 17, coming past. Oh, no, that's Eleanor Benson. No, it's Whitney Sharp. They give it incorrect hip numbers here. I have to adjust our.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say, I just wrote down a number and it's definitely not who that is. But that's okay. We'll persevere.
This field does start to string out now. They're almost running one by one across the track.
You wonder if anyone's counting.
Where
am I?
100% they would be. You'd be counting your top 20, no worries. There'd be some girls in this field who would want to be coming, 17th, 18th, 19th.
Yeah.
They're not wanting to come in the top few, not in this race. They want to make it through a few rounds, especially if you're more a 400 runner.
I was about to say, you're a 400 runner.